Eugene, B, and Jerry, you guys can hear me?
Yes.
Dope. So guys, when I say guys, and by the way, three amigos over there, I'm not talking to you when I say guys, I'm talking to everyone watching. So I'll call you by name. First of all, we got to give B a shout out because B is sick, or at least said he was. He was complaining about being sick earlier. We were giving him shit in the chat, and I said, dude, do you remember the flu game when Michael Jordan had the flu and dropped some insane points? But guys, I think it's important to note that people that win, they show up. Okay, B, you look kind of shitty, bro, just to be honest, but I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Nick. Man, this gold sucks.
That's a compliment, by the way. So, but anyway, the reason I have these individuals on is all three of these guys. They were, if you went back 6 months ago, 5 months ago in time to literally like the first part of the year, these guys were in vastly different places in their business, like vastly different places. So here's what I want to do really quick is I'm going to go through, I'm going to call you guys one by one. And I'm just going to ask you, first of all, I want to know, let's just say, let's say December 1st, because that's when we officially started Thought V Mastery. December 1st, how much money were you making? Okay. And I know like some of you guys are fluctuating. What were you making December 1st? And what are you making now? So let's start with Mr. Jerry Ward. Jerry, what were you at December 1st? What are you at now?
I was at 10 to 12 a month, fluctuating between that. And now I'm at 36.
Okay. That ain't bad. 10 to 12. Shit, man. I'm going to need you to start freaking cutting me a check. Damn. All right. I like that. Okay. B, tell me where you were at December 1st.
I think we were at 7,500 a month.
Okay. And now where are you at, bro?
We're at 45,000 a month.
45?
45.
Bro, let's freaking go. B's
nice.
Dude, B's a shit talker. He hasn't been talking, so he's been working. I like this.
That's
bro.
awesome, dude.
Dude, that makes me happy to hear, dude. You dirty dog. I know you're chasing. All right. Hell of a job, dude. I'm excited to dig into all that. And then Eugene, where were you at December 1st? And where are you at now?
Yeah, I got the numbers here, the exact numbers. So we were at 7,474 in December, and then we're at $29,146 for this month. So trying to crack that 30K though right now. So
dude, you're like close, so. You're right there. You got one more deal this month, right? So
yeah.
That's impressive, dude. By the way, all three of you guys, congratulations. That is for anyone that's just starting or that's been in this, like it's like getting to 10K. It's kind of like this mental thing. And then I feel like the next few levels are even harder because you have to put other pieces in place in order to get to those levels. And so hats off to you guys. Like you guys have all done something that very few people do. Next question I want to ask you guys, and by the way, everyone that's watching, I am going to give you guys a chance to ask questions, so get those ready. But the next question I want to ask you guys, all three of you, is when did you guys start into Rank and Rent? And I mean, like, when did you buy your first program? Like, hey, this is when I like first started. And I know a lot of us set it on the shelf. Like for me, I can say 2016. But B, when did you first start into Rank and Rent? Like what year, what month roughly?
It was August 2019.
August 2019?
August 14th, 2019. Yep.
Okay, dope. Eugene, what about you?
Yeah, pretty much probably like November 2019, around the same time as B.
Okay. And then Jerry Ward, what about you, buddy?
Also August 2019.
Boom, look at these guys. That was a good month for recruiting people.
That sure was.
So here's what we got to look at. This is what I'm curious about, right? And this is what I want to talk about today. By the way, for anyone that hasn't been in long, I've interviewed all three of these guys on their own private interviews, and they're amazing. And I've actually interviewed Jerry twice. And I'm coming for these other two guys, but they're hard to get a hold of. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to fly their ass in to just get their time, but we'll make it happen. So let's just say that the average, you guys, let's just say like fall of 2019, right? It takes you guys, all three of you, takes you over 2 years, 2 years and some change to get to like between 7 and 10K, just for ease of numbers, right? And then in 5 months, 5-6 months, you guys have literally, B is 4.5x his business, Jerry's 3.5x his business, Eugene's 4x his business. Okay, what the hell? Like, that's what I want to talk about. Like, I feel like a lot of times in this business, we're just going and going and going. As Eugene's favorite guy, Mr. Gerber, would say, you're doing it, you're doing it, you're doing it, in his freaking raspy ass voice, right? Beating your head against the wall, beating your head against the wall. And all of a sudden it's like things change. And I always like to say, you're way closer to your goals than you think. Like, I had no idea I was a year away, 12 months away from being in 7 figures. Talk to me about that. Let me start with B. And only reason I'm calling on people is because then you guys aren't all jumping in and we have like this weird, awkward moment. So B, like, what do you think for you? What was the biggest differentiator? Like, was it focus? Was it going, like, getting rid of SEO? Like, what was the biggest difference between two years and some change to get to measly, what was it, 7-ish K? And dude, you've 4.5x your business in 5 months, and you're doing other shit. You have a franchise going on. You have a kayak business. Heaven knows what kind of like lady slaying's going on. I mean, dude, talk to us, bro. He's single.
So
dude. He's single. 2 of these guys are
single all the way.
Hit
So
us.
I think the biggest thing for me was the way you broke down how to sell the lead gen, like building that trust with the client, doing the live transfers. That made all the difference, because by the time you got into the Zoom meeting, you just the client's got this so much confidence built in you and so much trust that your product works. It almost becomes like a no-brainer for him to sign up. And the nice thing about it is, because he has so much trust, in a way you can kind of say any price you want and they'll say yes to it because they know it works. Previously, it was just like, we would call random business owners and tell them, hey, do you need any leads? And we would tell them, like, we'd beg them, like, we'll send you some for free. But it's just the way we started the conversation was just, it was really bad. And it was at a point where we were just begging clients to just even take the calls or the leads. And it never really led anywhere. But once I saw your structure and how you do it, and just following every little step, it made that process so much easier. And then honestly, like, this group too helped a lot. Like, just kind of like back in December, we were all very, very, very close, and it still is. I mean, obviously I've stepped out, so I don't feel it as much, but in the beginning, at least, it was really helpful to have all these other people who were all working together towards that, the same goal. So that pushed me every day to kind of, okay, you know how we were doing that competition, we still are kind of, but we, that really pushed me to focus every day to get up and try to get another client closed.
I still remember, dude, I have a text. I should have screenshotted it. You text me at like 3 in the morning and you're like, wake your ass up, motherfucker. I just closed the deal in 20 hours or something like that. I still have that text, dude. So biggest thing for you is obviously the structure, having a sales process, but like specifically within that, is it just the way that you approach the conversation, instead of like, oh, whoever says yes, we're gonna like, oh, of course, and we're gonna go after them. Like, it was, and we're now realizing, hey, we're the ones that hold the chips. We're the ones that have what they need. Is it like that mentality? Is that like specifically within that process is what I'm asking?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it was like, we knew what we had, is that it's something that they all wanted. All the business owners wanted it. Before, it was the way we were perceiving, the leads was like as this thing that I have, and I'm trying to really sell it to this client, and hopefully they can say yes to it. But after like changing that mindset to know that I have something of value and every client needs that, and regardless if you don't say yes, there's always going to be another business owner that wants those leads. just switching your mind to focus like to think like that instead, it made a big difference. But yes, so yeah, I guess I hope that answers your question. And by the way, I'm getting like overheated right now, and it's really hard to like try to think back clearly. But I'm really hoping I'm answering the questions correctly.
You're answering them great, bro. And if you need to go get a drink or you know, put on a Band-Aid or some shit like that, then you can do that. That's cool. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And that makes that you answered my question, just so you know. Yeah, dude, it's cool to see. Like, I talked to Jerry, the most recent out of all three of you guys, but like, dude, when I interviewed you, bro, like this was in December, maybe January, like you seemed like a little kid, dude. Like now, like you got your grown ass man. I love it, dude. It's awesome. And maybe it's because you're sick, but no, it's cool to see you guys grow. Yeah, I still, dude, freaking B was trying to like negotiate the price of my program. Like, dude, screw you, bro. We'll tell that one later, but you had the policy that I'm like, bro, you don't know me. I don't do discounts. So anyway, bro, I appreciate that. Let me go over. So Jerry, tell us really quick, dude, for you, what was the biggest difference? I know we've kind of covered this to some extent in other interviews, but like 2.5 years, 2 years and some change, you get to get to 10K and probably feeling like you didn't feel that confident 10K because I know you were fluctuating as well. And then all of a sudden in a couple months, and by the way, you joined on Christmas Day because I remember, or Christmas Eve. So in, let's call it what, 6 months, you're at 36K. Like, dude, what the hell? Like somebody that's out there listening, like, how do you explain that? Because that sounds like either you're full of shit or like there's some witchcraft going on.
Yeah, no, definitely witchcraft. No, the thing is, the greatest part about it is I'm spending less time in my business than I was 6 months ago. Like, because all the money that we were bringing in was on, the majority of it was on commission deals. And I was literally having to follow up with client every freaking week, every other day. And it was a nightmare. Yeah, so I think what the program did was kind of gave me the confidence to be able to ask for money every month and not do any, I mean, yeah, I don't do commission deals. I literally got my last guy that was like a hybrid flat fee / commission deal off of commission deal last month. And it was like the greatest feeling ever to know that I don't have to think about it. Just, check up on them, just make sure that leads are still going. And, the bank account keeps getting full. So,
yeah.
And it's just focus. I think really what it also did was it made me focus on the things that were important. And focus less on the things that weren't important. I'll be the first to say that I was trying to do everything but pick up the phone and make calls. Bought a ton of programs for like emailing and just doing everything that didn't involve talking over the phone. And now, that's not even an issue. And I spend about 30 minutes a day, get a couple yeses, and for people that are, interested in taking some leads, and then I'm on my merry way.
Isn't it crazy? Like I used to, before I like had a process that I knew like, hey, I'm calling. And guys, just so you know, like I know Jerry had a little bit of like sales background to some extent. But like I don't think these other two did. Most of the people that like are in this group or that I work with, they don't have sales experience. And so, but I will tell you that there's a big difference between going and saying, hey, I'm going to go do cold calls and having to psych yourself up and having to like get in this crazy mental, like Dennis Rodman, wild headspace. And when you have a script and when you have a list and when you have a lead and you're like, yeah, I'm just going to call and hook a couple people. Like you just said it, dude. When you're like, bro, I just do is that, oh, sorry. You're like, bro, I just do a couple minutes a day and hook a couple people, right? So like for you, did that play a big part in it of like just the confidence in calling, knowing you're calling people that are interested, you have a script and you also have a lead compared to, hey, I'm going to go to Google and just freaking shotgun this thing?
Yep, 100%. Well, yeah, I mean, that was the thing too, is just kind of knowing what, you know, yeah, what you're going to say, what to say if they respond, you know, I don't know, just for me, I'm not, I'm definitely good at following like a script, following a rule. If I have to veer from it, I suck. So it's giving me that confidence, but doing it over and over and over again, now like I don't even have to look at the script. I just get on the call and I know what I'm supposed to say, and I know what to say, you know, if they respond in a way that, you know, I don't want them to, I guess. And then I, you know, kind of lead them to what I want them to. I don't know if that's even making any sense, but I'm able to kind of redirect, get them to kind of go along the way that I want them to, for the most part. I've actually had a couple people reach out, you know, wondering like, you know, how do you know, if the business owner is like, you know, wanting to move forward, or if it's a solid, you know, situation, or if you're just wasting your time giving them crappy lead, or, you know, giving them leads. And I would have to say that like when I get on the call, like, you know, and I get them to say yes. After I get them to say yes, I see how long I can get them to talk. Like I ask them about their business, you know, have them kind of embellish on, you know, what they're trying to do, what they're trying to grow, if they're trying to grow. And if they do that, then I know that, you know, it's someone that's going to actually value the lead that I'm giving them. But if they're just trying to get me off the phone, then I'm just like, all right, I don't think this is a good fit. Get off the phone and go find another one.
Dude, all the stuff that you're saying, like it like, dude, and again, same thing I just said to B, bro. I remember when, actually what's funny is me and Jerry, we didn't even have like a Zoom call. And same with me and actually none of these guys, we had a Zoom call because B jumped in the beginning. Eugene and I talked over the phone. Actually, no, me and Eugene did do a Zoom call, but like, I just remembered your first interview, dude. You've changed so much in just the confidence of like, I know you're a confident person, but confident about this subject matter. It's insane. And I think a lot of it has to do with what you're saying, which is the mindset and like it, I don't know. I hate to even say that because it sounds so stupid, but it really, it's just the switch in mentality of like, hey, what I have, I need, this is the thing I like to say. I need you need my leads more than I need your money, bitch. Like that's the mentality I have. Like seriously, that's like the shift. Because before, and I know all of you guys, I know like I remember Jeff saying this down in California, the firefighter. He's like, dude, I would call, and the first person that gave me a glimmer of a yes, I was all over it. I was like, oh yeah, sounds good. And now we're kind of like picking and choosing. We're the ones that are controlling the game because we know that we care the least in the relationship because we're the ones that have the value, right? So just to recap, dude, I think it's been fun to watch all of you guys. And I mean that, like you guys have just, your confidence in this is unreal. Like, I feel like you guys have, I mean, not, I feel like, I know you guys have just kicked ass, man. You guys had the information, but you also did something about it. So anyway, kudos to you, man. Eugene, let me jump over to you really quick, man. Tell me, by the way, bro, dope sweater. Yeah, bro. I think we all should have talked, and I don't know why it's not switching over to you. Hold on. Let's see. Try and talk. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, there we go. All right. Yeah. So, dude, I just said dope sweater. By the way, we should have all just worn the sweaters today. That would have been a good idea. But yeah, dude, tell me, like, and you're somebody that's a little bit unique. I remember when we talked, you're like, hey, I want to get a process that I can have a sales guy help me sell. And like, you were thinking of it in a bigger picture than even I was when I started. So tell me why it took you, that same amount of time, 2.5 years to get to 7K. And by the way, you're not really giving yourself enough credit because you had some bigger months before that, but they were commission pay per lead. So it was a fluctuation, but you were just honest about the amount you made in December. But takes you that long to get to 7,500, and then you jump up and you're doing, let's call it 30K, 29,146 in 5 months, because you joined like right around Christmas. What was it for you? What was the light? What was the switch that like flipped on? What was the light that went off? What was it, man?
Probably lots of stuff, man. You know, a lot of stuff, but you know, I mean, probably the most important thing was just the sales process that you had. You know, it's like, honestly, you know, I mean, if other people are watching from inside FFM, and you know, like, one thing I noticed is there's always a temptation for us to like deviate from the process that you laid out for us. You know, it's like, oh, this ad didn't work for me, so now like I need to go like learn about Google Ads. You know. And it's like, what I realized was like, every time I deviated from your process, like just a little bit even, I always ended up regretting it. You know, it's like, you know, we might have had like a property that was like not in the, you know, even if we got a referral from somebody, right, it might have been in a market that, you know, you probably would have been like, hey, don't touch that market, right? And then so we would go in there, and then the cost per click was super high, and I was like, okay, it's you know, I shouldn't have went my own way. I should have stuck with what Nick said and just kind of followed it. And yeah, just from just like going through so many iterations, you know, just like with my sales guy and everything. And your process is so simple, man. But it's like, I think people kind of like undervalue it, because it's like, it was like forged in the fire. I could tell that you formed it from trial and error. You know, you probably did, I don't know, probably God knows how many calls you made. You probably tried different ways to get in, and then like this was like the best way to, you know, to introduce yourself to the business owner. And like, it's just so simple, and it gave us a process to follow, and it really like, it cut our like our sales time by like at least by a factor of 4. Like, it would take us like, we were closing probably like a deal a month or so. And then so now we were getting up to like 2 deals per month, and I actually kind of slowed down the sales a little bit to get like my lead gen building team built up. But yeah, you know, we're going to try to ramp it up really to like, you know, to like 3-4 deals a week. That's what we're shooting for, you know?
Yeah, I remember one thing from our first interview you told me, because when you called, dude, when we talked on the phone, I was driving to Vegas. I remember we chatted on the phone, and you were like, or when, I mean, maybe it was when we Zoomed, but you were like, dude, you're like, I'm sending a bunch of leads. I'm sending like 20 leads to these people, like, and it's a 2-week thing. And I'm like, I'm not closing. And then all of a sudden, dude, 3 weeks after you jumped in, you and your guy, you closed 4 deals. I think it was like $4,500 a month that week, something crazy like that. And
Yep.
I was like, bro, what the hell? And I remember you said one of the biggest factors is you started doing the live transfer, right? Because you said, dude, I'm sending all these leads, but they're not answering them. They're not getting a hold of them. And so it's not even being effective. It's like sending all these samples. They're just throwing them in the trash, right? So I know for you, the live transfer within the process was kind of a big deal. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it cut our sales you know, cycle down like right off the bat, because we would try to put people on a 2-week trial, right? I mean, honestly, we probably weren't really like listening too carefully to all the calls to see if they were even picking up the phone. And you know, as we know, probably like 80% of business owners, they generally don't pick up their calls, right? You know, so it's like those are guys that we wouldn't even like, you know, consider working with nowadays, you know.
Yep.
So like the live transfer basically like cut the sales cycle down to like about a week, as opposed to like 2 weeks off the bat, you know? So think about what we were doing. We were giving some people a 2-week sample, then try to close them at the end of the 2 weeks. And then if it doesn't work out, then we have to go through that whole process again, right? So it would take us like a month or a month and a half to close. And then so cut it down to about like a week to like a week and a half to like close the deal, you know?
Dude, the thing I love about you is, you know, your numbers so damn well. You're like factor of 4 and, you know, this and that. Like, I love that you know your numbers so well. And I love that you're always sharing the one thing that anyone that's listening that Eugene does a good job of is he tracks everything, right? Like, he tracks how many calls it takes to get somebody on the hook, how many people on the hook it takes to get a Zoom call. Like, Dude, I'm over here just like wondering if you're like tracking some really weird shit in your personal time. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sales guy bathroom breaks, we have that.
Yeah.
Down too. You know?
You're like, dude, it's no. But no, that's dope, man. And hell of a job. I'm excited. I've said this a lot of times, but I'm excited to see how many millionaires we can create in flat fee mastery. And note, like I've said this to people that, like, I'm not saying this because all three of you are on. I've said this to multiple people that have joined. I've said, hey, you three, and then I've mentioned a couple other people. I'm like, they will be millionaires within 12 months. I promise you. Mark my words and watch this. And y'all are about to like make that quicker than I even guessed. So it's super fun to watch. Here's the next thing I want to ask you guys really quick. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys that are listening, you can ask a question. And if you have somebody specific, you want to ask it too. I'm just going to kind of pick through a couple of those, but here's what I want to ask all three of you really quick. I'm going to start with Jerry. If you could go back to the beginning in 2019 fall, okay, let me unmute you here. If you could go back to the beginning, 2019 fall, knowing what you know now, okay, knowing all the things that you know now, what would you change? What's one thing that you would change?
Well, I wouldn't have built 800 websites all at once. That would probably be the first thing that I would change.
Okay.
I would have stuck to niches that I knew could make money. I wouldn't be trying to find like these hidden niches. I would just go to ones that we all know and love. And so those are probably the two main things.
And dude, I love that. And some of you guys that have been in the game are going to relate to that and go, oh, I've done that too. And some of you guys are like, why would you build 800 websites? What you don't know is that most of these other groups, they're teaching you to build before you know what the hell you're doing. So for anyone that's wondering why Jerry built 800 websites, that's what he was taught to do. And he did it. And he realized that there's a better way. So I love that answer, bro. Okay. B, what would you do, bro? Go back to 2019. What would you change knowing what you know now? What would you change? See if you could start again. Hold on. I muted you, bro. Hold on. There we go. Hit me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
Okay. One thing's for sure, I would be fully focused on lead gen. I wouldn't start any. I wouldn't open up the franchise. I would have probably sold the kayak rental business, and I would have never started the ski rental business. Just because I've noticed that lead gen is the most profitable. It's the fastest growing. And right now that I've gotten myself so deep into these other businesses, I've had to hire more people to kind of help me manage everything. And the thing is, if I would have been able to just hire the same amount of people but focus on lead gen, it would have made such a big difference. I would have been able. I have a feeling I could have achieved much better results by now. So that's one thing. I would just only do lead gen. That's it. The other thing is, even within lead gen, I would try and pick just a few niches inside lead gen, right? So I'm pretty good with towing. I'm not sure why everyone struggles with them, but I'm pretty good with towing.
Get the hell out of here. Nobody listen to this guy. I'm like, literally, I was going to make a video on you shouldn't go into towing, but somehow this cat does towing. I think you send dirty pictures to these tow truck drivers or something, bro, because it's not normal. Anyway, you do kill it with towing.
By the way, the franchise that I'm opening up, my business partner is a towing client who lives here. we built such a good relationship. He was like, man, you've exploded my business. I have all this extra money laying around. Let's do something. And I was like, okay. Cool. But anyways, yeah. So I'd focus. I'd put probably 50% of my focus in towing, or maybe even 75% of my focus just in towing. And then I'd pick another niche that's really good, and I just focus on those. Just because when you know their lingo, when you know how to talk, when you know their bullshit, and that's something about me about towing. I know their bullshit. Like I know when they tell me certain numbers, it doesn't add up, and I can kind of just tell them straight up what the real numbers are. And then the thing is, even within that, like there's so many other ways that you can grow a towing company that when you tell them how you're gonna take them to this next level, they're like, holy shit, this guy knows so much, you know? Like, for example, one thing is we help towing companies get state patrol calls, right? And that's something outside of Google, you know, it's not something within it. And we teach them how to, if you want to get in the state patrol calls, how do you do that? You have to have a yard, you have to have impound lot, you have to be 24/7, you have to have a certain amount of trucks, your trucks have to have these kind of labels. So like what I'm trying to tell you guys right now by describing these is like there's so many finer things inside the lead gen, inside the niche, that if you can explain that to them, and when you talk to them, they're like, this guy, they know like this guy has grown other towing companies, he knows exactly what to do, he literally can duplicate it into my company. And when you can do that with any niche, they take you so seriously. They're willing to give you the most amount of money because they see you as this really specialized guy in what they want, right? They see you as the genius, you know, who knows how to get them to that. So so if there's anything that I'd want to get clear in this answer, is that I would just be super focused on lead gen, and then within lead gen, just 1 to 2 niches. That's what I would change.
I love that. And it's so true, man. Like, yeah, you hit it perfectly on the head. I mean, and it's funny like that you say that, because when I look back at my breakout year, which I went from being like just a small ball kind of guy, and then I did 7 figures, dude, all I did that whole year is I focused on one niche. It was tree service. I had other sites that I needed to sell, but dude, we overwhelmingly did mainly tree service, right? That was the focus. And then what I've kind of done is every year I've kind of had a new focus. So it was tree service. And then last year was artificial grass. This year's concrete. So dude, I love it. Great advice. Eugene, tell us, bro, what would you do? Go back in, to 2019, knowing what you know now, what would you change?
All right, I got 2, because the first one's gonna be real quick. It might sound corny, but definitely sign up for FFM, because look at the numbers. I mean, in December, we went from 7 Gs to 29 Gs in like 6 months, you know, and now that I saw what B did, you know, I feel a little ashamed. I feel like we're going too slow now, but
Hey,
put a little fire in my ass.
Plus it's worth mentioning, like, as all real cults do, we have some really cool stuff like the tattoo. Did you tell them about the branding that we do?
Oh, I thought we weren't supposed to tell everybody.
Oh yeah. That's because it's in like kind of a weird area, but yeah, we do like this brand. No, I'm totally kidding, guys. If you guys have seen Yellowstone, or if you guys have heard of that cult called Nexium, where they would like brand as the initials down by the groin area. We might be doing that. I'm not going to share that. You'll have to find out on the inside. Anyway, thanks for the plug, bro. What else?
But yeah, so I guess, yeah, a lot of the stuff Jerry and B talked about, those are great things, you know, like staying focused. But I think one thing I tried to do this when I first started, and I would try to break stuff down to the numbers like earlier, you know, so like trying to figure out like what your sales goals are going to be, and kind of backwards engineering like all the steps. And even though you're in the beginning and you might not know exactly like what kind of expenses you're going to have and what kind of problems you need to solve, at least you can have a kind of a big picture idea of like what you need to do, like, and then break that down into day by day basis, and then kind of like evaluate yourself at the end of every month and be like, hey, why didn't I get to this goal this month? You know, oh, I'm missing this problem. We're not getting enough leads here. So like, that's a problem we need to address. But at least you have like a big picture goal of where you're going. And I think that will help you stay focused, is like, and then also kind of be closer to where you want to be. So so kind of breaking it down.
So just like tracking things like earlier, figuring out where you can improve, make those incremental improvements, and you just taking advantage of those, right?
Yeah, just like even being like, look, I want to get to 100 Gs a month by the end of the year, right? So, well, okay, you know, on average, each deal, let's say 1250, just to be like, you know, to be reasonable. And then like, okay, well, how many cold calls do I need to make to get a business owner on the hook? You know, how many, and then how many hooks do I need to get? And then so I'll know I can break down the workload and then kind of like schedule that out throughout the week, right? So that you'll kind of have like a general idea. It's like, in the beginning, it's like I'd wake up every morning and kind of be stressed out and be like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like, do I need to do this? Do I need to sell PPE stuff? Like, I don't know. Like, do I need to build more sites? Whereas, if I had more of a long-term game plan right off the beginning, I think it just would have helped me stay focused and got more done in that amount of time, So.
Yep. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. I just thought of one last question. This will be really quick. Then we're going to jump into Q&A. I want each of you really rapid fire. What was your yeah, but? So like, let's say back in August, back in October, we kind of started this group, or maybe even in December, you're like, yeah, Nick can do it. Like that process is cool. Nick can do it, but yeah, B can do it. But what was your yeah, but when you were thinking about like, hey, will this process work for me? Jerry, what was your yeah, but? Oh, hold on. Jerry's got to unplug. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I would say my yeah, but was freaking, I didn't want to buy another effing course. I had bought so many courses over the past 2 years, kind of gotten sidetracked multiple times. I was like, dude, I do not want to spend another freaking dime. And the funny thing is in 2021, our goal for 2021 was to not buy any courses. And we bought like 4 courses in 2021.
I'm the worst. Yeah, I get it.
But and yeah, and of course I got one, 5 days before the new year, 6 days before the new year. But and so I was just, I guess for me, my yeah, but was like, well, I should have enough info in all of these courses to get me to the next level. I don't need this, this isn't gonna work, these other ones didn't work. But I do believe in speed, and if I have a process that's laid out, I know, yeah, it really was kind of just on a whim, because the other courses that I bought just didn't produce the way that I wanted them to. And so
well, dude, I remember when you joined the free group, like we were chatting in the messages, and you kind of like put off a couple of messages like, hey bro, like, so I'll probably never be a customer of yours, but like I appreciate the stuff you're putting out. Like that's the vibe I got. So I was like, oh yeah, cool, man, that's cool, just chill, like check it out. And then you hit me up on Christmas. I was like, let's go, baby, let's do it.
Yeah, I just couldn't wait. I was like, I know that this is something that needs to change, and I know that this is where we're weak in our business is sales. And so I was like, all right, well, if this is all about sales, let's just do it. And best decision ever. So
well, tax write-off, right? Tax write-off.
Yeah, that's right.
That's cool. Okay, Eugene, I'm gonna go back to you really quick. Eugene, what about you? What was your yeah, but? Like, yeah, but I'm not a sales guy. Yeah, but this, yeah, but that. Like, what was yours?
Yeah, lots of stuff, man. I guess it's like weird. It's like maybe it's kind of like not just a single thing, but like I mean I felt like I fell into a lot of traps that like a lot of people fall into, and like I think that's kind of where like shiny object syndrome comes from, like, right? Like it comes from fear, right? You have a fear of like making the calls, or even for me, like I had a fear of like doing the accounting. I mean, it's also terribly boring, but like it would give me anxiety to do it, so I like put it off, so I wouldn't even know like my expenses were, like really dumb stuff, right? But it's like I think a lot of the progress that I made was like, you kind of have to like override the fear, right? You have to be like, okay, I know I need to make these sales calls, like I know I need to get this process handled, and like instead of avoiding it and trying to come up with like different reasons why I didn't have to do it, just like Jerry said, like, instead of making sales calls, let's buy all these email courses and stuff. Let's try to avoid doing like this stuff that is going to actually push the business forward, right? So like, yeah, I guess my yeah buts were like, yeah, but like, oh yeah, this other guy's probably better at sales, or they're probably a lot more responsible than me, so like they can handle this, but this is something that I can't handle. So a lot of time was spent like rationalizing my way away from doing like just like what I need to do to get like push the business forward,
Yeah.
So.
I think a lot of people will relate with that. It's almost kind of like this like bit of imposter thing. You're like, yeah, but like, who am I? Like, you know, like, of course, but they're probably good at sales, or they're probably this. And meanwhile, you're the guy that's over here doing 30 grand a month. So I think if you're out there thinking that same thought, even people that are doing 30 grand a month plus are having those same thoughts. That's really awesome. B, how about you, bro? What was your yeah, but?
Dude, it was honestly something so stupid. It's ridiculous. Literally your background. I was like, yeah, but he's got a nice background. So when he's on Zoom meetings, it looks professional. And then this is before I got
You mean
this
like
office.
literally like this? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, not.
I thought
Yeah,
I was like, bro, you should see pictures, dude. We were like in the double wide with the Rottweilers, bro. I'll show you.
Dude, yeah, no. So for me, like I said, it was before I got this office. So before that, I just had a regular background, and I was like, man, like when clients get on a call, they're not gonna take me seriously because I don't look like I'm in an office. So I was like, yeah, but Nick, you know, my yeah, but was that Nick had a better office. So,
Dude, you know what I love about that? First of all, you're honest, and I love that. But secondly, like most of the people that have yeah buts, like everyone has one, and sometimes they're that stupid. Like, guys, if you could see the office that I had before this, like it was pathetic. So, but I appreciate you sharing that, because we all think that like we don't have. There's probably people out there like, okay, cool, my yeah butt's not that stupid anymore, because that's pretty.
It's got to be the dumbest one right there.
I thought you were talking about like background. I was like, bro, I don't think I shared anything of that, but I love it. All right, dude, let's freaking do this. Let's go and let's do some Q&A for some of you guys really quick. Let's go. I'm going to start at the bottom. Okay, so Brian Jones, and I might just pick a couple of you at random just so that for time's sake. So I might just, if there's no specific person they want to ask, I'm just going to pick somebody. So if they had to start all over again and they had 0 assets, AKA websites, would they 100% just run ads and pre-sell and not build the website until landing a paying client? B, did you hear that? Or do you want me to repeat it?
Yeah, no, I heard it.
Okay, what's your
I think yeah, if I could, I'd try to get at least one GM, like a few GMBs up, just in the meantime. But right away, I'd start 100% on Google Ads, start generating those leads, and then depends on how much money I have, right? But if the budget is there, if I'm able to at least have like $1,000 to spend on Google Ads, that'll help me get that first client and get that ball rolling. So it would essentially just go towards Google Ads.
Love it. Okay. I'm going to go through these kind of quick. Candace says, I'm at the beginning of this process and chomping at the bit to make it to the sales process. My challenge is due diligence. What are your top tips for finding the right markets? I'm going to take this one because this is something, first of all, guys, this is one thing I guarantee all these guys could attest to. Most of the people out there that are listening to this, you guys are wasting time on the wrong shit. Okay. First of all, the niche, you shouldn't be wasting time on niche. Okay. I'm going to give you the niches: concrete, artificial grass, tree service, spray foam insulation. Pick one of those niches and go find a city. Okay. So first of all, that's number one. Don't waste time on the niche because those niches work. Go find a city where there's decent volume, low competition, and a cost per click of less than $5. That's your answer. Don't overthink it. You're like, that's the problem. Money loves speed, and a lot of you guys are overthinking it. So I'm taking that one because that is, by the way, Chan, a good question, because I bet you everyone out there's thought of it and it's the wrong question. You should be doing the sales process right now. That should be the focus of what you're doing every day, not spending so much time on that. Now, that said, don't go and just build. Like there's a fine line there. But those are my criteria, right? So it's got to be under $5 cost per click. I've got to make sure that it's in one of those niches, and I got to make sure that the competition is low relative to that specific city. Okay. And so what I do is I start at population of 50,000 and I work my way up. If there's volume, then I do a due diligence on it. And if it's less than $5 cost per click. So anyway, good question. All right. Here's another one. I just discovered Rank and Rent 2 days ago. I want to get into this. I would like to start taking action. Where do I start? And is there a sales script I can follow? Okay. Jerry, I'm just going to call on you. Jerry, what would you say to that? I just discovered Rank and Rent 2 days ago. I want to get started in this. I'd like to start taking action. Where do I start? Is there a sales script to follow?
Join FFM.
There we go. There we go.
I don't know what else to say to that.
Because well, here's the thing: is like it sound the thing that like no matter what happens, it always sounds like just so everybody knows, we didn't even talk before we got on this call. I think probably some people are out there like, oh, we did this big thing and we're gonna pitch F and like I've always say when we get on these calls, I'm like, if it comes up, bring it up. If not, then don't. So because here's the two options, right? You can go and you can do it, right? Because and I always say this: do I think John Dirk? Do I think you can figure it out? Yes. Did I? Yes. Am I the smartest guy in the world? No. Okay. But I've been doing this 6 years. I've been doing flat fee for 2.5, and I've spent $1.2 million on ads. So if you want to go and take that same route, go do it. Okay. But there's a quicker way. And that's what Jerry's saying. So I think there's not really much else to say there. Okay. Josh Burton, what if you do a live transfer, but they tell your lead they're too busy? Holy shit. That's Eugene, I'm going to have you take this one. I love this question. I wish I could answer this one. So what if you do a live transfer, but they tell the lead that they're too busy? What would you say to that?
Tell them to kick rocks then and call another business owner.
Yep.
Or, actually, let me give you a better answer. One, I try to save it. So yeah, give them a pullback. Let them know, hey, like, you want these or not? Like, I mean, this, I sent you this lead, it's going to be like 5 G's. Like if you can't handle the calls, then clearly you're not the right person for the business. So do you want this or not? And then move on, keep going.
Yeah. And you say it more eloquently. You say kick rocks. I say eat shit and a big pile of it too. Okay. Last point on that is if you do the hook correctly, if you prospect correctly, you are not going to get that. Okay. Because if you're talking to somebody, first of all, if you get that, that means you didn't do the pullback correctly on the first call. Because the first call, if they start giving you some bullshit about they're too busy, stop them right in their tracks, like Eugene says, and go, whoa, hold up. Like, just so you know, like, are you hungry to grow or not? Because I'm only working with one person here. If you don't want to do this, or if this is going to waste your time or make you so busy, then tell me right now, I'm not going to lose sleep. Okay. But just don't waste my time and I won't waste yours. Deal? You say something like that, that's going to punch them right in the freaking face and let them know that you mean business, and you're never going to get that. That to me is more of a prospecting issue than it is anything else. Okay. But if you do accidentally get to that point, I think Eugene said it perfectly. Drop a pullback, guys. Tell them, let them know, hey, bro, I don't have to do this. Like, if you think I'm begging you, you got the wrong guy. You got the wrong girl. I don't need you. You need me. Like, you need to have that mentality. So that's a good answer, Eugene. Okay, let's see what else we got. Question for later. Nick says search volume, city population for city plus niche selection. Any rough numbers of the minimum search volume? Great question. Depends on the tool. Okay, what you need to do is you need to go figure out whatever tool you're using. You need to figure out how does that compare to everything else. So take a website that has been ranking for months, if not years, and roughly how many leads it gets. Let's say it gets 30 leads. Go see what that tool says about that website, okay? Now you have a base number, and now you can start to work off of that, and you can say, oh, well, if this tool said there's only 20 search volume and I'm getting 30 leads, then anything with around 20 is going to be good to go because I know I can get 30. So you have to, I can't answer that because it depends on the tool. You can use SEMrush, you can use Ahrefs, you can use Google Keyword Planner, you could use anything. You got to figure out what your base number is, okay? Alan for B, I got one for B real quick. How many hours a week do you spend on your lead gen? Actually, I'm not, you guys, I literally want you to give me the number of hours. Don't answer any further than that for time's sake. How many hours do you spend per week on your lead gen business? B, how many hours? Did we lose him? Oh, hold on. He went dark. There we go. Asked to unmute.
Can you hear me?
How many hours, bro?
Right now, 3.
Okay. Eugene.
Probably like 50 hours, I would say.
Okay. Dude, I love that you guys are on. This is cool. Jerry, how many you spend right now? Oh, there we go.
Probably like 30 to 40.
Love it. Okay, let's keep going. Okay. This is an interesting question.
Hold up. I guess one thing to put into that though is flexibility is huge. Like last weekend we had Hoop Fest in Spokane, which is like a big 3-on-3 basketball tournament. And I didn't do any lead gen from like Thursday till Monday morning. So I didn't think twice, about having to worry about, am I going to get paid? Am I going to, and so, and next week I'm going to be gone all week down visiting my folks in Southern Oregon on the coast. And I probably won't do a whole lot next week either. So,
The bad news, Jerry,
what
is you're not going to be able to use work as an excuse not to go to your in-laws anymore.
I know.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
Well,
kidding.
I closed three deals the last week that I went there, and it was the worst. I mean, it was the best. It was awesome because I closed deals while I was there, but I was like, I'm never going to be able to use that excuse ever again.
I'm totally messing, but I've been there. Okay. And anyone that's married can relate. All right. Jerry, while I got you really quick, Alan says, what do you do with the X amount of leads if you don't have any clients yet? So I'm guessing he meant the extra leads. Like if you don't have any clients, what do you do with the X amount of leads if you don't? Yeah. I mean, you go find a client. I mean,
go fishing.
Go fishing, baby. Go put some bait on the hook. Get, throw it out in the water and go reel one in. Go reel a big old. I personally like to go for koi. I don't know about you guys. That's my favorite type of fish. They're expensive. They're sexy. Whole thing. Okay. Let's see. Okay, real quick. Jason posted this. I'm glad he reposted it. If I missed your question, we're going to do a couple more and then we're going to let these guys go because I really appreciate their time, but their time is valuable, especially if B's only spending 3 hours a week. Damn. Thanks, bro. Just feeling honored right now, dude.
This is the most that I'm spending in a day.
This makes me feel honored, bro. I can't wait.
No, and it's honestly like it's just because of the other stuff going on. Like if it wasn't for those stuff, I'd be spending a lot more time. But we've been able to take the company to just autopilot, so I can just focus on the restaurant.
But dude, this is what's so cool about this, right? If you had built a $45,000 a month business in SEO and you were spending 3 hours a week, what do you think would happen to it?
Wait, I don't think I got you.
If your company was SEO instead of lead gen, like, can you imagine?
Oh my God, dude! I'm telling you, it's something I don't want to think about because it pisses me off. So please don't ask that question anymore.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't be able. You would literally have to pick. You'd say, okay, I'm doing the franchise and the kayak and the this, or I'm doing the SEO because they would have canceled 2 months ago. Like no questions asked. And yeah, so I've done both, and I know like you wouldn't be able to do what you did. So Jason B, while I got you, Jason said, I posted a question above too, but can we hear were any of you guys working a full-time job while building your business and how you manage the leads, site building, etc.? Like, or by the time, because I know you guys were all at like 7 to 10K. Had you guys already gone full-time into this by the time you joined Flat Fee?
For me, in 2019, by the way, this shirt says Grubhub. So in 2019, I got this. I still have it, but so I used to do Grubhub during that time, and then once lead gen was able once my business was able to make enough money, I stopped Grubhub. But in December of last year, when I was still at 7,500 a month, for me the kayak business was producing enough revenue, so I didn't have to really work. So that helped a lot. And then, but right now it's just kind of like I'm doing everything at the same time. So I hope that answers the question.
Yep, I get it. What about Jerry? Jerry, real quick, before this, when you were getting to like that 7 to 10 range, I mean, like I know I jumped cold turkey and I damn near lost my shorts. I can't remember. Did you kind of make the transition slowly and keep a full-time gig, or what was yours like, Jerry?
If I would have not had a business partner, I probably would have done it slowly. But he was drowning. So we started for probably a good 8 to 9 months. I was doing both lead gen and I was working a full-time gig.
How did you manage it? That's what Jason's asking. How were you able to manage that? Because you got the live transfer, you got the whole thing. Like, how are you?
It was really difficult. I was pretty lucky. Like I had a pretty flexible job where I had to go out and meet with clinics and hospitals all the time. So I was constantly in my car. So I would like make phone calls while I was in my car. you know, to try to hook business owners and stuff like that while I was doing it. But yeah, I mean, I actually quit right when the pandemic ensued, like in April of 2020. And yeah, and so it's kind of a similar experience. It's not like we were making, you know, a shit ton of money where I could just, you know, take it easy. So I quit in April, but I had a couple of side businesses that brought in extra income. And so that kind of helped. But yeah, I just went all in 2020, and then was living off of savings until we started like making it work.
I love it. Real quick, Eugene, I think there's a really good question. So I want to ask Eugene real quick. Eugene, remind me, did you have a full-time job at one point when you started in, or were you like living off potato chips and eating bologna and like just like scrapping by so you don't have to work?
No, the bologna came later. Yeah, when I first started lead gen, I was working full time. Yeah, and it was a pretty hardcore like corporate job, you know, like high stress, like long
Hey,
hours.
this is good because I know Jason he's in like investment banking or some crazy shit. So speak on this. So I think he'll relate to you really well. Share their story real quick.
Yeah, man. I mean, if I could have gone back, I probably would have. I mean, of course, hindsight is 2020. I probably would have executed a lot better because I would have had, you know, money coming in, right? But what I tried to do was I tried to like, I made the EMIS mistake. And I was trying to do everything like by hand, and so I would wake up at like 4 a.m. and just like grind until like, and then go to work, and then like work for like 11 hours, and then come home and then grind until I just couldn't grind anymore. But if I could go back, I probably would have used the capital instead and invested it, and then probably started building properties and stuff as opposed to like trying to do it myself, you know? So
yeah. And I think one thing, Jason, to point out, that it's a good question. You don't have to answer the live transfers live. What I do, I know what many people do, is I let them go to voicemail. I let them go to missed call. I do it on my time. I have a 30-minute slot. I'm sitting down and I'm calling all those missed calls. I'm calling them. They don't answer. I'm calling them right back. I'm leaving a text. I'm leaving a voicemail. When they answer, I'm saying, hey, this is Jason with Minneapolis Tree Service. Sorry, I'm calling from a weird area code. I'm just out and about. This is my cell phone, right? Because you know they're already thinking it. And you just do the live transfer back to back to back. So don't think if you're out there like, oh, I got a full-time job, I can't do the live transfer piece. Yes, you can. And by the way, you can do it after hours. You can do it at lunch. You do it on your time. Okay. So don't worry about that. I've been doing outbound calls. In fact, I've tested out having a full-time outbound person to do live transfers for clients as a service. So just make sure when you call, you let them know, hey, I'm calling from my cell phone. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's do 2 more questions and then we're going to freaking bounce. All right. Let's see. Let's do this one. Aaron Vogler says, what do you think is the max amount of time you should spend pursuing a business owner? Okay. Let's go with B. What's the maximum amount of time you should spend pursuing a single business owner before you quit pursuing that business owner?
Man, is this saying like they've said yes, they'll take the 3 free calls? Is it after they say yes to that, or
give us an answer for both? Let's say that they haven't. Let's say that they just haven't answered, and then let's say that they've gotten, because I know what your answer is going to be. If they've gotten a couple leads, it's going to be good. So hit me like they haven't answered yet.
If they haven't answered, oh man, I think I'd call them. I'd reach out to them 7 to 9 times within a 7 to 10 day period. After that, I'd stop following up with that client.
Okay. What if you've sent them 3 leads and then start ghosting you? This is the more interesting answer.
If they sent 3 leads, I mean, if I've sent 3 leads and then they don't answer, I'd send a pullback, and then after that pullback, I'm done.
Yeah, I love it. And by the way, if you guys search the group, B has graciously shared a lot of his pullbacks. Like even recently, he's gotten really, really good at the breakup text. He must be practicing it in like his spare time on other specimen, but he's getting dangerously good at it, dude. Hashtag Tinder game, bro. Tinder game.
Dude, I love pullbacks. I love pullbacks.
I love it. Okay, real quick. Let's do one more. Yeah, this is a good one. I'm going to have all three of you answer it and then we're going to bounce. Okay. This one is, what is the one most important thing to focus on as a beginner in rank and rent? What is the one most important thing to focus on as a beginner in rank and rent? Eugene, hit us.
Well, man, I mean, it's kind of a tough question, but yes, I mean, I think there's a lot of important factors, right? But yeah, I mean, like bringing it back to sales, I mean, I think sales is the most important part of a business in general. You know, I mean, I've worked at companies that just had a good sales process and a really, really shitty like product, right? But they just had they had a boiler room, they had like sales, like closers, and they had a good system, and like they would just be calling, and it was like, you know, they would make millions of dollars and just with sales, right? So, you know, if you could figure out that process and get the revenue coming in, then you got a business, you know.
I love it, man. Jerry, what would be as a beginner, the question was, as a beginner, what's the number one most important thing you should focus on in rank and rent?
I would guess, I mean, I would ask the question, you know, what do you want from your rank and rent business? If you want money, then the most important part is to focus on the sales of it. Figure out how to get a lead generated and then go start calling business owners.
Yeah.
If you care, if you're all about like the technical side, then, you know, then that's another story. But I think majority of people that jump into this business, they're looking to make money. They're looking to free up time. And the quickest way to do that is by learning how to generate a lead and then going and hooking a client.
I love it. And I think it's a good point. And if you guys, just a little pro tip, if you guys got in this and you're looking for ulcers and to lose your hair, I would go build a kick-ass SEO company. That's what I would do. If you want to have ulcers and lose your hair, that'd be like my number one tip. So there's that. B, number one thing you would focus on, or what you should focus on as a beginner in rank and rent.
Definitely sales, 100%. If you can dial down your sales tactics and get really good at it, that's the number thing I would do. I've never ranked a website, and I never will. I just decided to get a business partner who knows how to do that stuff, and he took care of that, and I just took care of the sales. So I think if you can at least find someone to do the ranking for you, so you can just completely focus on sales. At least for me, it took a lot of the headache out, and I was able to focus on sales. So I would focus on sales.
I love it. One last thing, Jared Bell, I saw his comment come through and he had a good point. He said due diligence. And I don't want to confuse an earlier comment that I made. Somebody asked about due diligence. I don't want to not stress on the importance of picking the right city and niche. What the point is that too often we get hung up on the bullshit. So it is very, very important that you do have your due diligence process dialed. And just to recap, some of the things that I do make sure is that the CPC is less than $5. Okay. Most of you guys aren't even checking that, but I know I'm going to be running ads. I make sure that I'm using multiple keywords when I'm doing the due diligence. And I make sure that I can rank it at some point if I choose to do that. Eugene, did you want to say
Nick,
something? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you're kind of new to this too, I would like recommend investing a good amount of time doing the due diligence up front, right? Because in the beginning, I built a lot of sites that I thought were low hanging fruit. And even in terms of like trying to find a good CPC, you're like, oh, this is good enough, right? But if you do a whole bunch of them, then you're going to see some where like, oh crap, this one's only $2 per click, or like this is one, there's no websites here. There's only one guy with a website, right? So, I think you'll have a better idea of what like a good low hanging fruit is. So I would recommend investing, if you're new, to invest a good amount of time just doing some due diligence.
I agree. I think I've probably done literally over 1,000 due diligence in the last 6 years. Like well, maybe not. Maybe it seems like 1,000. Maybe it's like 500, but I've done hundreds of these damn things. Maybe it is 1,000. That's a lot. So I know what I'm doing. I don't do them anymore. I have a VA, but okay. Guys, you guys are freaking badass. I do want to ask who's gonna hit the 100K mark first. Like obviously B's got an edge right now, but dude, he's a little distracted, bro. B, like, I'm not gonna lie, dude, you're just a little bit distracted. So although you have the advantage, like who's it gonna be? Like if you guys had to bet, what do you think? Like Who's that? Who's confident? Who's the Conor McGregor of the bunch?
I mean, I know something for sure. Right now, I'm only spending 3 hours a week because I'm putting a lot of time on the franchise. So there's not going to be a lot of growth, which sucks. But I don't know.
I
don't
love
know who
it.
to pick.
I see.
Yeah, but dude, we know what you were at just like a month and a half ago. So the fact that you already got to 45 on 3 hours a week, I need to freaking figure something out.
Well, it's just most recently I started doing 3 hours a week, but I was actually doing a little bit more than that a few weeks ago. But man.
Dude, this is the reason why, like, obviously I expect all of you to say yourself, but this is one of the benefits of like being around people that are actually doing shit. Some of you guys are out there making like $3,000 a month and you guys think you guys are killing it, right? You're making 10K a month. You're killing it because the people that you hang around are making like, they're making like 40 grand a year. So you think you're crushing it, right? And then all of a sudden, like Jerry just pointed out, is like, dude, B's at 45. I got to pick my shit up. And I remember when we interviewed Linda, Jerry's like, dude, I got to pick up. And because at that point, Jerry, you were still in like the teens. So this is what's cool about like being around people that are doing stuff and doing big numbers, have big ambitions, is you realize you ain't shit, man. And you haven't done shit. And it's time to freaking step it up. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Hey, question. Can we do like combined, like all businesses, how much revenue they have to hit per month? Like if I had to combine everything, can I still be part of it? Because I mean, as of right now, I'm taking a break, not a break, but I'm slowing down on this. But I still want to be part of it as long as I can get my other businesses involved.
Hey,
okay, the total revenue is this much.
Here's what B is gonna do. He's gonna go start a construction company and he's like, yo, let's go off of gross profits. Okay. So
yeah,
he's gonna go
I was
sell
gonna say, I already
house.
got you beat on that.
Yeah. He's gonna go build one spec house and be like, yo, I'm 600K, yo. Like I can see him cheat the system or something. So dude, by the way, this isn't the time or place, but I have some like stuff that we're gonna do in Flat Fee Mastery where there's gonna be like these different levels. So I'll release that and then we'll talk, B, because you're a shyster, bro. I love it. But this is totally you, bro. Even when you're sick, you're still a shyster. I love it. So anyway, dude, I really do appreciate the three of you guys being on. I'll hit you up after, and everyone else, thanks for watching. We'll be in touch. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See you guys.